Hello and welcome to Inside Sports. I'm Wes Decker, and what day is it? It's Williamsport Day? Yeah? Well, it is because Williamsport won its first football game, which was our featured football game this week, and the Wildcats also swept the county soccer tournament championships, the girls and the boys. So before we're finished, be prepared for an invasion of the Williamsport footballers. Speaking of football, I finally won my first fantasy football game this week. Now, it was very close, but a narrow win is still a win. Now, if somehow I had had these two Clear Spring football players in my starting lineup, it would have been no contest. These guys' numbers absolutely off the charts this past week. And I can only imagine, after that victory last week, of course you're looking forward to this week's game, but you have to have homecoming on your mind. You guys have dates?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Well, I would expect as much from senior football players. And any chance before the show's over you could maybe show us a little of your dance moves for after the game this week?
That's a little iffy on
Yeah, I
that
don't
one.
know about that one.
Okay, well, I can only ask. Hey, when we come back, maybe our best move is to just show you their football exploits. I'll formally introduce you to these two guys from Clear Spring, and we'll talk about that football game, the win last week over Petersburg, right after this.
Behind every great child, there is a great foundation. Premier Martial Arts will empower your child and give them a premier foundation to success. Our instructors have the passion to teach classes designed to build premier skills. Your child will develop greater self-control, confidence, and concentration. Premier Martial Arts will take your child up the path of greatness. Call Premier Martial Arts today.
Speed Channel has evolved into Fox Sports 1 with the best in live sports programming that fans love. Major League Baseball, NCAA football, UFC, NASCAR, and more. Join the new era in sports with Fox Sports 1 on Antietam Cable Channel 43. Available in HD on Channel 523.
Honey, I just got the mail. We got 6 new bills today.
We don't have enough money.
Mommy, will we still get to live in our house?
It may be time to consider bankruptcy. Call Bodie Law. Do it for yourself. Do it for your family.
Injured on the job? Been denied compensation? Need money for medical bills and lost wages? Know your rights. Insurance companies have lawyers, and so should you. Protect yourself. Call Bodie Law, your Hagerstown legal team, for help at 888-823-1255. It's what we do for you that counts.
Welcome back to Inside Sports, and now our formal introductions. I've got Clear Spring's Collin Schultz and Jake Brant with me. Welcome to the show, guys. And I alluded to it in the opening. The numbers that each of you put up individually in that game against Petersburg, just phenomenal for high school football for sure. The team, though, I think that's probably the most important thing to both of you, the fact that you get a big win, the first of the season, 62-27 over Petersburg. Collin, let me start with you. You know, the first 2 games of the year, very frustrating. A 1-point loss, and then a 6-point loss. And, you know, you start thinking, man, is this the way the season's going to go? All of a sudden, you break out in this game. You had a sensational first game against St. James, but talk about this game against Petersburg and why everything worked.
Well, I mean, in this game against Petersburg, they ran man coverage on the outsides, and we knew that we could exploit the height advantage of me compared to their corners. And we just did corner fades from Jake, which was exceptional balls placement, and I went and got it, and it was easy to score. And then our line did a phenomenal job of blocking, running backs, had the run game going so that we could show the run game, but then pass, and the coaches did good play call.
Yeah, everything came together in that game, and your numbers, 7 catches, 127 yards, 5 touchdowns. That was just on offense. Defensively, 3 interceptions, 1 return for a score. When you think about those numbers now, I mean, have they sunk in? Because they're just crazy.
Yeah, it's starting to sink in. I mean, I'm still reliving the game over and over because it was just such a phenomenal game. Everything just clicked right for me, and it just felt great.
And Jake, for you, it had to be good just to be back on the football field.
Oh, it felt real good to be back out there, yeah.
I mean, you get hurt in that first game of the year against St. James. As I mentioned, it had to be frustrating not only losing that game, but getting hurt on the play on which you were hurt because you're in on a fake punt, you throw a pass which is intercepted, you keep a touchdown from being scored, but you injure your wrist. didn't know the extent of the injury at that point in time. How tough was that for you, knowing that you were injured but not knowing what that injury was?
It was pretty tough. I didn't know how long I was going to be out, especially being senior year and stuff like that, and didn't try not to be out too long.
No, well, you're pretty important to the team as starting quarterback, first and foremost. And, man, you had a terrific game against Petersburg without question. I mean, running for 114 yards, first off, as Collin pointed out, I mean, the run game sets up the passing game. And obviously you knew you had some matchup advantages there. Collin's a guy who's taller than most on the outside anyway, but when they're playing man-to-man out there, you wind up throwing for 308 yards, 6 touchdowns. I mean, did you have to ice the arm afterwards? I mean, that's a lot of touchdown passes.
No, I didn't have to ice the arm at all. Like, the line did one heck of a job blocking. So.
And how good did you feel about that game, not individually necessarily, but as a team and kind of getting back to where you probably expected that you guys would be when the season started?
No, I felt real good, especially everyone started coming together and playing as a team. So hopefully we can keep that going.
And at the half, I mean, this was still a football game, 26-20. Yeah. What changed in the second half that enabled you to just really pull away from those guys?
We had a little bit of an inspirational speech in the locker room.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Anything you can share with us that was said?
It was just bringing the team together and need to get our heads in the game and stop like letting let the offense score more touchdowns.
Well, I think you got the message, and you guys certainly pulled it off. Collin, 6 touchdown receptions and 6 interceptions so far this season for you. Did you have any idea that you would be so prolific this quickly this season? Obviously, you have the height advantage, but I mean, that's not everything. That's like saying because you're tall, you can play basketball. You still have to be a good athlete. You still have to be able to catch the football. You still have to be able to run. I mean, to you, is this, amazing to you at this point? I mean, have you surprised yourself at all?
I mean, I didn't think it would take off this quickly, like have the amount of numbers that I have, but I knew that I was going to have a great year. I just didn't know it was going to be this great so fast.
And Collin, what will it take for this team to get to where you want to be before this season? I know the ultimate goal at Clear Spring is to get to the playoffs because it's never happened there. What will it take for this team to do that?
I think just be the team that we were Friday night. Just be that team that clicked together, came together as a family, and just went out there and did what we were supposed to do, executed the game plan completely.
And Jake, now with a record of 1-2, you get Hancock. It's an important game. It's homecoming. Can get back to 500. How's your focus this week on that game?
Oh, we're definitely focused. Practice is going good so far.
Well, best of luck on Friday night to both of you guys, and sensational numbers so far. Keep it up as the season goes.
Thank you.
I'm back right after this with more football, our featured game, in just a moment. At Murray's Tire and Auto, we were here for you then, and we're here for you now. While the way we look might have changed over the years, the quality of the work you've come to count on remains the same. From preventive maintenance services to emissions repairs to major and minor mechanical work. Plus, Murray's carries Cooper and other major brands of tires and uses state-of-the-art equipment to accommodate all rim and tire sizes. And now shopping for tires has never been easier. At Murray's, your family's safety behind the wheel is important to us as our own. Enjoy old-fashioned service with all the modern conveniences at Murray's Tire and Auto. Still here for you in Williamsport. Antietam Cable is pleased to announce another exciting innovation, Antietam To Go. Antietam To Go lets you watch TV shows on your computer or portable device, laptop, tablet, smartphone. Watch what you want, when you want, where you want from the most popular networks on television. Power Antietam To Go with Antietam high-speed internet for the perfect entertainment combo. Just visit myactv.net/Antietam To Go to get started. It's TV your way with Antietam To Go, free with your TV subscription. Thank you for being an Antietam Cable customer. Welcome back to Inside Sports. Now, Week 3's featured football game pitted two of the most victory-challenged programs in the MVAL over the last several years against each other. So something had to give. The Franciscaki Eagles entered 2013 without a winning season since 2006, compiling a 7-53 record over the last 6 years. And from Week 3 of 2010 until Week 7 of 2012, they didn't win at all, a span of 23 games. The Williamsport Wildcats came into the year with a cumulative total of just 35 wins against 96 defeats since their last season with a mark north of 500 way back in 1999. The Eagles started Friday night, a surprising 1-1 under second-year head coach David Smith, while Williamsport, under the venerable Vince Ahern in his 20th year as a head coach, his first with the Wildcats, entered 0-2, two games that, had they been 45 instead of 48 minutes long, would have been wins for a Williamsport team, averaging a county best 34 points per game, but giving up a county tying worst 37 points per game. Would playing in Williamsport change the fortunes of this hard luck Wildcat team in its home opener? It sure didn't look like it following the opening kickoff. FSK picked up 22 yards to its own 49 on its first three plays before the Eagles' Rye Thomas took care of the rest on play number 4, breaking a pair of Williamsport tackles on his way to a 51-yard touchdown and a 7-0 FSK lead with the game just 58 seconds old. But seeing the Eagles go 73 yards for a score seemed to do little, if anything, to phase the high-scoring Williamsport offense, who was just this close to completing a 71-yard march of its own when it put the football on the ground and FSK recovered at its own 4. 7 plays later, from their own 43-yard line, the Eagles' takeaway turned into a Williamsport takeaway when St. John Shoup gathered in the deflected pass. Starting at their own 35, this 19-yard burst by Jordan Stonebreaker got the Cats right back in plus territory. However, once back in the red zone, they were once again denied the end zone, until the ensuing FSK drive bogged down and the Eagles found it for them with an errant punt snap that Jeremiah Yunker and Anthony Bazell ensured resulted in a safety 3 minutes and 11 seconds into the second quarter. A minute 24 later, quarterback Savon Brown kept the ball and kept going 16 yards for the first Williamsport touchdown and lead of the night at 8-7 with 7 minutes and 25 seconds left till halftime. Coach Ahern implored his defense to keep it that way, but after the teams exchanged possessions, FSK made its next one count when quarterback Clayton Bleck capped a 65-yard drive from 7 yards out with 30 seconds remaining in the second quarter. And after Thomas's 2-point run, the visitors went to halftime in front, 15-8. After weathering the storm through the first 24 minutes, FSK was about to get slammed by Hurricane Savon in the next 12. Number 18's mix of running and passing on the third quarter's opening drive moved Williamsport toward pay dirt like a Category 5 closing in on land. And like a Cat 5, he wouldn't and couldn't be denied as the Wildcats trimmed their deficit to 1, just 2:34 into the second half. Then, following a failed FSK fake punt at its own 32, Brown left bodies in his wake and a path of destruction all the way to the end zone as the Wildcats took back the lead nearly halfway through the third quarter at 22-15 after Matt Malfer's 2-point conversion. Trailing by 7, FSK again rolled the dice on fourth down in its own territory, and again the Williamsport D held, putting the Eagle defense right back in the eye of the storm, for which they had no defense, for Hurricane Savon blew right over them 35 yards to Colby Byers, who made a sensational catch to extend the Williamsport advantage to 13, punctuating a 20-point Wildcat uprising in a 6-minute, 14-second span of the third quarter, a quarter in which the Cat defense rose to the occasion one more time, with Lasher Urciolo forcing the fumble and Yonker recovering it at the Williamsport 25-yard line, giving the football back to Brown and the offense, who, despite not scoring, just as importantly, would hold the ball for a quarter-bridging 5 minutes and 51 seconds, giving the home faithful a 28-21 Williamsport win to applaud in the Wildcats' home opener. But they had to be admitting a collective whew, too, for the third consecutive game. They saw the Cats allow an opponent to score a touchdown on their final possession. This time it was in addition to capitalizing on just 2 of 6 red zone opportunities, failing on 3 of 4 conversion attempts, and surrendering 367 yards rushing. Thank goodness for poor FSK game management in the third quarter, and one monster night from junior QB Savon Brown, who ran for 171 yards and 3 scores, and threw for another TD in what, most importantly, was a win for Williamsport. Congratulations to Coach Ahern, his staff, and the team on that, though if history is any indication, making it 2 W's in a row won't be easy. This Friday, the Cats attempt to crash homecoming at 2-1 Boonesboro, a school that's won 12 of the last 13 against Williamsport. Coming back, talking about Williamsport, we've got soccer players who will be joining me in just a moment.
I think what makes Bogaerts different is the fact that when the clients come in here, they do feel comfortable.
It doesn't feel like the sterile atmosphere of getting a haircut. It's more of having a conversation with a friend while you're getting a haircut. Being in the sales profession, it's important for me to sell myself, and part of that is my personal appearance. I've yet to encounter a bad haircut from Bogaerts. They've all been very consistent over the past 13 years.
Bogaerts were Northern Avenue, directly across the street from Gold's Gym.
Hello and welcome back to the show. I'm joined now by two of the victorious Williamsport Wildcats girls soccer players, county champions now, Regan Stout and Erin Palmer. Welcome to the show, girls. Great to have you here. And first, I'm going to get things formally out of the way here. It was raining pretty good on Saturday night. I don't know if you dried off completely yet, so here are a couple towels for you. And obviously, we got the best ones available right there. So anyway, hey, let me ask you question number one, Regan. When you think back on that game, a victory over Smithsburg in penalty kicks, you get the deciding penalty kick at the end of that game to push Williamsport over the top. But, I mean, the weather was a major factor. How did you handle that? Because, I mean, not only was it raining before the game started, but it just seemed to pick up as it went along. Did that affect you at all?
No, I feel like we just had a lot of heart. Like, our team wanted it, and it's been like a couple years that we've been in it since my sophomore year, and we just dug deep and knew that we had to put it away, so we won the title.
Yeah, well, good for you. I mean, everything worked out in the end. And Erin, going to halftime, it looked like it was going to be a scoreless tie at that point, and then Smithsburg gets a goal there right before you go to halftime, so they're up 1-0. What's the discussion at halftime now that they have the lead?
Our coaches actually kept their cool. They were very,
angry.
Yeah, they were they were angry, but they kept their cool. And I think that is when me and Regan and Maddie and Kate Wade and a couple other girls on our team decided, like, it's time to go. Like, we want this, and this is ours to win.
Well, how did you feel about being down 1-0 at halftime?
As a senior and wanting to win so bad, I was going to do anything it took.
Well, 7 minutes into the second half, you come out and you score that goal, a beautiful corner kick, and then you're able to head in that corner kick from Aaron McVicker to tie the score. At that point, did you kind of get some of that burden off your back? Were you able to breathe a little bit and just kind of focus on the fact that it's back to even again?
Yeah, I was so excited. Actually, I didn't even know it went in, to be honest. But everybody started jumping on me and patting my back and stuff, and it was an awesome feeling to know we were back in the game.
Yeah, well, unquestionably. And Regan, I guess the fact that perhaps Erin didn't know that went in. Later, it comes to penalty kicks. You're up 2-1. It's a chance for you to kick. And we talked before the show. You said you didn't realize that necessarily was the one that decided it all. And had you would have been a little more nervous about it. So tell me about how all of that went. I mean, what are you thinking about when you step up there?
Well, I knew right away not to look at the keeper because that would have psyched me out. So my goalkeeper, Haley, told me just do it like we did in practice. So I just kept my head down and just put the ball in the net, and it was one of the greatest feelings ever.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, the county championship, how big a deal is that to win that title?
I feel like previous years we were just like, okay, we won the state title, but the county championship is just another step. So we never won it before. So this was a year that we're we want this. We've worked hard since my freshman year, and it's just another step, another title we wanted.
And right now at this juncture, you've won 3 games in a row. The season's off to a good start. Erin, you've been scoring a lot of goals. As a matter of fact, I mean, when you look at this Williamsport team, 26 goals. Now, granted, 19 of those came in 2 games, but still, the scoring has been spread out too. I mean, of the 5 leading scorers, we talk about seniors on this team, but all the contributions haven't necessarily come from seniors. But, you and the other 4 seniors on this team have played together on this particular team. And you and Regan have played together how long now? I mean, this is a long...
since we were 6 or 7. We've been together forever.
Now, what is the goal here for this? I mean, is it realistic to say Williamsport can win a state championship?
I think so. I think we have confidence in ourselves. Yeah, we take every game step by step. That's what you have to do, but that is what we're aiming for. And I think if we continue to have belief, which we do, then we can go from here and win more titles.
And Regan, you pretty much echo those thoughts?
Yeah.
Well, best of luck the rest of the way, and congratulations on this county title. I can tell it means a lot to both of you, so savor that while you can. I know it's back to business tonight against Urbana. Best of luck in that and the rest of the season.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here. I'll be right back. I'll be joined by not 2, but 3 boys county champions from Williamsport in just a moment.
Boxes are good for a number of things, but not as your flooring store.
Excuse me, where can I find your ceramic tile expert?
Ceramic tile expert? You're looking at him.
But aren't you the...
Ceramic tile expert.
At Carpet Gallery, flooring isn't just one of the things we do, it's the only thing we do. And when they say free, we say, really? Here, you'll meet with flooring and ceramic tile experts with over 70 years of experience, and that's for real, and that's real value. Trust Carpet Gallery for all your flooring needs and think outside the box.
Welcome back to the show. Williamsport Day continues with the boys county soccer champions, the victorious Wildcats, represented by Tiago Desouza, Ryan Schnurr, and Corey Ellis. Welcome to the show, guys, and congratulations on the county championship, the first for Williamsport since 2008 in the tournament. And Ryan, let me start with you, since you kind of started it all in terms of the goal scoring. A 4-1 victory, the first goal you score coming pretty early in that soccer game. How important was it to get a goal there in the early juncture?
Well, I think it was important to light the fire for the team, because in the week playing Catoctin, we didn't really have the intensity we needed. So I think it was just good to just set that, and everybody sort of picked it up after the first goal.
And Corey, it could have been a little bit different, because right off the opening kickoff, Boonesboro has an opportunity to put the ball in the net. You come out and challenge, force that shot to go wide. Was that something that you went into the game with a mindset to be aggressive, or is that just a call that you make when that sort of develops in front of you?
I went into the game with an attitude to be aggressive, but when those things come up, you
you just react.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do what you think is best at that point, and obviously that worked out for you. And Tiago, you get the second goal of that game, and that was a beautiful goal in terms of teamwork from one end to the other. I mean, Wyatt Hudson started it all. Owen Marks heads the ball over. Alec Cantner gets it to you, and you do the rest. And to get a 2-0 lead early in that soccer game, I mean, you want to put a team down, obviously, but as Ryan said, you've been struggling a little bit. Great to get that 2-goal advantage, obviously.
Yeah, definitely. Especially like past few games, we've been like not producing anything before even halftime, and like we always say we're a second half team, so getting that early lead, like that just kind of set the tone into the second half.
And Corey, let me come back to you, because it has to feel good, the fact that your guys are out there putting the ball in the net. Takes a little bit of that pressure off of you too, and you don't have to worry about a goal deciding the game here or there. To have that 2-0 lead, how does that change the way you sort of look at the game from that point? When you have a lead that is more than one goal.
It just makes me really excited for our team that we have that momentum going forward into the game, and that we carry it throughout the whole game and just play the best game that we can.
And I think you probably play. I mean, would you say, Ryan, that was probably the best all-around game, perhaps, that Williamsport's played this year?
Oh yeah, so far. I mean, we just played great as a team, and it was just from the defense up to the offense. We just moved the ball. We were all having fun. It was just good soccer.
And the second goal that you scored, tell me about that one.
Well, I wasn't really expecting it, but I kind of just got one from far out and just took my chance, and saw it hit the net, and it was just good to get a 3-0 lead that early, and just felt good.
Yeah, and from there, Williamsport just really goes on to put that game away. The second half, each team gets a goal, but for the most part, that game had already been decided in the first half. Now, Tiago, is it strange to see Boonesboro again in that tournament, given the fact that you played them in that first game? And I know Coach Downs talks about, it's hard to beat a team more than once. Now all of a sudden the championship's on the line, and you're seeing that same team again. And obviously they had a little revenge on their minds, but you took them out of the game early.
Yeah, definitely. Like I absolutely hate playing the same team more than once, especially in like the same tournament. But and then we're gonna have to play them again in the season, so 3 times is gonna be kind of difficult. But I think if we go out playing the way we did, then I think we'll be fine.
And Corey, to have back-to-back wins now with the bulk of the season still ahead, and obviously you want to be playing your best soccer as you head toward the postseason. So do you feel like this kind of got you over the hump, this particular game against Boonesboro?
Yeah, I feel like this game puts us in a great position for the rest of the season. Great momentum going forward. We won this, and then hopefully we got some more stepping stones along the way to get the goals we want to achieve.
And Ryan, how big is it? You have a game coming up against North Hagerstown this week, and then you get Winters Mill, and it's been a little bit rough going against these teams from outside the county. How much are you pointing towards that Winters Mill game so far as getting a victory against a team that isn't a Washington County school?
Well, I mean, we just have to take it like one step at a time. These teams outside of the county they're competitive and they're good, but if we play like we did against Boonesboro, they're just going to be just another team that we just need to play hard against and just don't take them lightly.
And clearly important to beat those teams on the road, possibly to get them back to states where Williamsport hasn't been since 2003. And Tiago, let's stop looking at all this serious stuff and just one final question. What do you think of Coach Downs' rain gear on Saturday night?
Well, we kind of caught him off guard a little bit, but he was obviously with the rain he was prepared and had all that like waterproof jacket, but we still got him with the bucket of water, so,
Oh, man. Well, hey, you win a county championship, you should be able to do stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, that gives you a little leeway there. Well, guys, congratulations on the title, and best of luck the rest of the season. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
I'll be back right after this. I've got a little more football to wrap up before the show closes. Back in just a moment.
Speed Channel has evolved into Fox Sports 1 with the best in live sports programming that fans love. Major League Baseball, NCAA football, UFC, NASCAR, and more. Join the new era in sports with Fox Sports 1 on Antietam Cable Channel 43. Available in HD on Channel 523.
Welcome back to Inside Sports. It's the show's 2-minute warning, and I'm out of timeouts, so here we go with the rest of Week 3's football, no huddle style. South Hagerstown got back on the winning track, knocking Poolesville from the ranks of the unbeaten 36-13. Isaiah Smith ran for a career-high 295 yards and a career-high tying 5 touchdowns. Through 3 games, Smith has already piled up 748 yards and 12 TDs. At this rate, number 39 is on pace to shatter the all-time county mark of 2,004 yards he set a year ago by nearly 500. He and the 2-1 Rebels host 1-2 Catoctin on Friday. Smithsburg fell to 0-3, losing a 3-point heartbreaker to North Carroll 17-14. The Leopards came within 3 minutes and 17 seconds of their first victory in a game they led 14-3 at halftime. Smithsburg's 3 defeats have all been decided in the final period by a combined 12 points. Next up, 1-2 Brunswick on Friday. North Hagerstown also failed to hold a fourth quarter lead. The Hubs led Linganore 21-13 early in the fourth before the Lancers scored 2 touchdowns in a 2-minute 57-second span that put Linganore ahead to stay 27-21. 2 tough losses to 2 ranked teams in the top 25 in the state dropped North to 1-2 with 0-3 Mergenthaler Votech on deck Friday in Baltimore. Boonesboro faced the second-ranked team in the state last Friday, and the 2-time defending Class 2A state champion Middletown Knights spotted the Warriors a 6-0 lead before running off 48 unanswered points. Boonesboro suffered its first defeat 55-13. Now 2-1, the Warriors play their first Antietam Conference game of the year at home Friday against 1-2 Williamsport. St. James gets a week off after absorbing a 39-7 setback at the hands of St. John's Catholic Prep on Friday. The Saints begin Mid-Atlantic Conference play October 5th versus the undefeated Panthers of Potomac. And speaking of Panthers, Hancock crushed Carson Long in a Saturday matinee 47-9. Jesse Wolford rushed for 202 yards and 3 touchdowns and threw for another score. As mentioned earlier, 2-1 Hancock is at 1-2 Clear Spring Friday night. Next time, I'll look back at last Thursday's 5-set volleyball classic between Williamsport and North Hagerstown, coverage of Saturday's 36th annual Frank Kaiser Invitational Cross Country meet at Boonesboro, and Week 4's football top to bottom featuring our Antietam Cable game of the week, Williamsport, Boonesboro. Thanks for watching. See you again in 168 hours on the Inside.
Hey, your sisters and your brothers, your haters and your lovers, you gotta get up in the streets. Hey, don't complain, mother. Hey, another color.